What do you know about V-dubs? Well, take everything you think you know and throw it out the window. Wayne Penrose is a guy who lives and breathes Volkswagen. In fact, he's built a business around it. Wayne Penrose Volkswagen are the high-performance VW engine specialists, and one look inside their impressive workshop near Nowra in New South Wales is enough to convince anyone of that fact. But we came down here to check out one V-dub in particular, Wayne's weapon of a hill climb sports sedan superbug, affectionately known as Phoenix. So Wayne, thanks for your time. I mean, this has been a labour of love, and what a workshop you've got here.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, it's been a labour of love for many, many years.
Yep. Where did all this start for you? What got this love affair going with these sort of vehicles?
Oh, for me, it was many years ago. I was only 20 years of age. I was raised in a family of Holdens and Chevs. I'd had a really nice HJ Holden Monaro that I sold in 1985.
Yep.
2 weeks later, went off to the Mount Panorama Bathurst races to watch the Hardy Frodo 1000.
Yep.
And unfortunately got run over while I was asleep in a tent on the Saturday night up there, and never got to see the race. And I was knocked around pretty bad.
Yeah.
In the 3 months or so that I was off work, I was walking down Main Street of Wollongong Crown Street and seen a beaut little VW Beetle corner with the full fiberglass flare kit and the whale tail and all the gear on it. And for me, that was the turning point. And I really needed to build one of those for myself.
Yeah, nice. So you got that car or found another one?
No, I went and found another car. The money that I sold the HJ with, I spent the whole lot. I spent it all on this little Beetle. Made a convertible VW Beetle and joined the local VW club. And it really started for me as a hobby. From there, it's progressed on into a business. But I've never let the business lose that hobby feel.
And you guys have got a lot of race cars. Obviously, it's in the heritage. Started on the dirt track, oval racing, and then worked your way from there. What got that started?
Yeah, well, once again, I was born and raised with racing. The racing started in speedway dirt track for me. It was the most affordable form of racing that I could do at the time in the mid 80s. And then it progressed on into a little bit of drag racing, then into hill climb racing, which is what I'm most comfortable with.
You were talking earlier about building the drag car to begin. What I guess went into that? What did you do? What car did you start it all with?
Well, I started with a 1962 VW Beetle that I bought in 1991. And an apprentice at Wayne Penrose Volkswagen at the time asked if he could go racing. So we built him a road-registered drag Beetle. And that was for him to go out and play with. I played pit crew for him, and it was to introduce him into motorsport. After about 4 years, when he'd finished playing with that car, I then turned it into the dark blue sports sedan of what it is today still, many years later, after winning 2 Australian championships in it.
And that car's had a long development. It's over in the back of the shot here, and it must have been a real, it must be a real pleasure, to have seen it come such a long way. What goes involved with something like that? How do you develop it over that long? Have that many ideas to put into it?
That's a very good question. It's probably that's not one I can put into in easy terms. I mean, for me, I thrive on developing and modifying a mechanical component to make it better and better and better. I was in new waters where no one else was doing VW Type 4 combi performance engines. So no one could advise me on what to do. My father, Alan, who's very, very good with Chev racing engines, assisted me along the way in the early days. So we developed cars and they made more and more power.
Yep.
Then we introduced the racing to friends of ours.
Yeah.
And I can't count on both hands how many people have driven that dark blue car and introduced them to racing.
Yeah. And hill climbing is a passion. What is it about the hill climb that really draws you back every time? I mean, Mount Panorama, you got Dapto just down the road. There's some great courses in this area, isn't there?
There is. There's some really good hill climb tracks around the state of New South Wales. For me, the hill climbing, it's the camaraderie between the hill climb people, the hill climb fraternity. Everyone seems to be so friendly. You can always go and help someone else. If they're in need, they come and help you. And I really enjoy hill climbing because I get good value for money out of what I've put into the car for the time I spend in the car.
Are there ones that stand out? Are there moments that you just think that was such a good weekend, or that was such a long build up? I really appreciate that.
Look, the ones that stands out the most to me would be the 2018 Australian Hill Climb Championship in Victoria, where I took Phoenix, the white Superbug that's right behind us here, and won the 3 litre to 6 litre sports sedan class. But not only did we win the class on that weekend, we annihilated the competition. We took 2.75 seconds off their class record down there, and it was an eye-opener for those people to see a professionally built 4-cylinder motor car take that class. Not
just anyone as well, like a Volkswagen Beetle. It's not really something that people immediately go to when they think of a fast hill climb car. So it must be pretty special when you can power something like this up a hill and then jump out of it and everyone's, wow, that's not what I expected.
It's exactly what we've experienced at every single track we go to. Normally people don't come around and look at the cars before the first run, but after you've had that first run and they see the performance of the car, everyone wants to know what's in it.
Yeah, for sure. I guess that leads into what is in it. What have you done to it now? I mean, I know we had a heartbreaking moment 18 months ago.
We did.
It's led to a long rebuild.
18 months ago I did have an unfortunate accident at Mount Panorama at Bathurst at round 2 of the New South Wales Hill Climb Championship, where I had engine oil spew onto the right rear tyre at a high speed part of the circuit at Mount Panorama, which ended in tragedy for the car. Fortunately I had no injuries. Cars are fixable. As we can see now, it has been. This car is powered by one of our own developed 2.8 litre turbocharged injected intercooled Volkswagen engines. It's a Type 4 combi engine. So it is a passenger car engine.
I guess that's pretty cool to think, like, you're taking this out of a combi. And what have you mounted it to? What's involved in the driveline? How are you getting that power down?
I've had this car running now since 2016, and it's the drivetrain has been a 4-cylinder engine, Volkswagen, but a 4-speed VW Superbug gearbox. The Superbug gearbox was never designed to take the amount of power that we're getting out of these engines. The engine that was in the car was 450 horsepower at the tyres. So even with the modifications that we did to the transmission, we were still suffering breakages every now and then. So when we contested the Australian Hill Climb Championship in 2019, which was only November last year, I was really nursing the car to get it through the entire event. This new rebuild now, or the current rebuild, now sports a brand new Albin's AGB 10 6-speed sequential transmission. Time to turn the wick up.
I was going to say, you're going to be able to put some power down now.
Oh, yes.
Mid-mounted as well. I see the driver's seat. You're in the very centre of the car. You've done all the information gathering for weight distribution.
That's right. So each time we take the car out, we always put it on a set of scales. And we corner weight the car and do the necessary adjustments to make sure it's right. I am still learning with the suspension design in this car. The chassis is based on a Formula 2 open wheeler. So it's all inboard coilover shock through rocker assemblies. There's a lot of adjustments in the suspension, and I'm not quite sure how everything works yet, but we're learning.
That's what it's all about.
It's still early days.
That's amazing to think. Like, I know at the National Hill Climb Championships, the battle was between you and a purpose-built Trans Am sports sedan car.
Yeah.
Which, when you think about this little thing taking something like the might of that on, and you're doing it all in your shed at home, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah, we've built the entire, or rebuilt the entire car. It was a car that was built in 1997 and or 1996, sorry, and logbooked in 96.
Yep.
The centre seating has become a bit of a controversy.
Yeah, okay.
Fortunately, the original builder of the car was smart enough in 1998 to get a letter from CAM's eligibility committee endorsing the centre seating position.
Yeah, okay.
So everything's documented for the car. I have all documentation. It's had multiple number of scrutineers and eligibility officers look over the car, and not a thing has been found wrong with it yet after all the whinging that's been done about it.
Yeah, okay. So you're making sure you're playing it by the book and
play it by the book.
Yep.
And I enjoy my motorsport.
Yeah, for sure. What got this car, I guess, started?
When I was in my late 20s, early 30s, I was watching the build of this car through the Australian VW magazines.
Yeah, okay.
And it was built by a gentleman by the name of Richard Hosel in Sydney. It was his concept, his design.
Yep.
I've even got the hand drawings of the car prior to the first piece of metal being laid into it.
Yeah.
He spent 5 or 6 years building the car.
Yep.
And then, as I said, got it all completed, logbooked and used it. I purchased the car in December 2010 as an incomplete car, quite neglected, and then I went ahead and spent 5.5 years doing a total rebuild.
Wow. Yeah. So fully stripped it back.
Right back to a bare chassis.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah, every nut and bolt off it.
What's on the horizon for it? What's the plan now from here? What do you
The plan now is we've got the new transmission already mounted in the car.
Yep.
So it's going to be totally different to drive with the sequential transmission.
Yep.
We've also done an engine change with the car.
Yep.
And it's another purpose-built engine that we've developed in-house.
Yeah, okay.
And this engine produced 100 horsepower or more at the tyres on the same boost as what the old engine did.
Yeah, wow.
We've also got all new, much larger brakes for the car. And when it's all back on the track and running, we'll do a little bit of development work and testing and tuning, and then we'll hit the hill climb championships hard again.
Yeah, yeah.
And we'll show them how quick a hill climb car should be.
So 2021, it's going to be on. Where did the name actually originate from?
The name for this car, actually, I have to give to the credit of my beautiful fiancée, Jill.
Yeah.
She came up with the idea of Phoenix as risen from the ashes.
Yeah.
As we'd purchased the vehicle in a neglected, rundown state and brought it back to what it really should be.
It's been a long journey.
It's been a long journey, and it's an ongoing journey, and I'm looking forward to the next stage of it with the new engine transmission combo.
What else have we got going on in here? I know there's a lot of development. You guys do everything in-house, so
we do.
That's a sense of pride for you.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, we do all our own fabrication work. We do our own in-house development work. We've got a little orange Beetle over behind Phoenix here.
Yep.
It belongs to my son Dean. It's one of our research and development cars.
Yep.
He's running an engine combo very similar to what's in Phoenix, and he uses it on the street as a daily driver.
Yeah, wow.
Testing the reliability,
Yep.
doing tuning adjustments, different modifications through the tune,
Yep.
and at all this research and development we use and put back into our race cars.
Yep.
And then we can pass it on to a customer when we're satisfied that it works.
Yeah, which is really cool as a family-run
It
thing
is.
to be able to just be able to give back to the community in that
Yep.
way as well.
It is.
You can offer some things that are a bit different to, I guess, your regular just build-at-home Volkswagen.
That's exactly right.
What you can't
Yep.
find on forums and things like that, I would assume as well. Yeah,
Yeah, we're thinking way outside the square.
Yeah, for sure.
For air-cooled VW.
Yep.
And taking air-cooled VW to performance levels, especially the Type 4 combi engine that no one has found in the past.
Yeah, that's pretty incredible.
It is.
It's great to think that that's happening in like a little, really a little factory unit.
It is.
Outside of Nowra,
Yeah.
on the outskirts there. I noticed Ben's car as well here that we talked about a bit earlier. Can you give us a bit of an insight? Like, this is probably the quintessential going grassroots racing and doing it yourself.
It is, yeah. Ben was 17 years of age when he came to me.
Yep.
And He did his introduction to racing was in the dark blue sports sedan.
Yep.
That got him hooked enough that he wanted to build a car of his own.
Yeah.
Ben also knew the history of the dark blue car, and I know that he was a little bit hesitant to damage it.
Yeah.
He didn't want to drive it beyond the capabilities of himself or the car. He came to me and asked, how much money does he need to build a race car? Which I gave him a figure.
Yep.
He came up a little short, so...
As we all do.
As we all do.
Stages.
Yeah, we do. So I came up with a great little deal for Ben, and that was for him to spend all his money on his motor and transmission, and the company would build him a car to use.
Yeah.
So we did, and that was his introduction to drag racing.
Yep.
He developed his engine with assistance from myself. We built a supercharged engine. It made 330 horsepower at the tyres. It was noisy, it was fire breathing, it was just fun.
Yeah.
He got the old car that you see behind me to run 9.9 on the quarter mile at 134 miles an hour.
Yep. Loved it, I guess.
He loved it, absolutely loved it.
Yeah.
So much so that on a USA holiday, he decided to return with a much larger engine, we'll say. So in installing this new engine into Ben's car, and we couldn't put a supercharger on it. It was too big in capacity. It was 3.3 litre, and the blower that we had was too small. So we made a turbo kit for him, and we dyno tuned it. I think we come up, first tune was like 460 horsepower at the tyres, and the car was undrivable. A standard Beetle chassis would not cope with that sort of power. It was twisting and turning, and it was lifting front wheels off the ground, and the body was twisting. And after the first race meeting, we couldn't even get the doors shut on the car. So it twisted the body so badly. So we went out, and we've gone and bought Ben a second car as a surprise for him.
Yeah, cool.
And we actually did a private unveiling for him, and his new car now is called Grumpy, which is a very fitting name for the type of engine that he's using. It's currently on the dyno made 550 horsepower. He did put it in a dyno competition last October up at the VW Nationals. And we had some fun on the Friday night, watching all the guys put their little V-dubs on there and getting 30 and 40 horsepower at the tyres, and a few of the race ones getting 150, 200, some up to 400. And then Ben come out and ran 495 horsepower at the tyres, and the clutch let slip. All good fun, good times. That particular race meeting, which was the following 2 days, Ben was the fastest V-dub outright, and he ended up winning the race meeting.
And that car is over the back here. It has a lot of family history as well. It's got a brilliant styling to it. That was all done by family as well.
It was, My father, Alan, built the car for another family member many years ago, back in the 90s. It was used for quite a few years for drag racing. It's been a car, it's a full tube chassis car. But what's really unique about the car is it's had a roof chopped conversion. So it's very low in the roof, aerodynamically a lot better than the old car that Ben was using. Ben's early days yet, but the car to date has run 896 at 161 miles an hour.
Wow. What's been the thing with the blue car, the build, the history of it?
Well, I turned it into a sports sedan in 1997. The big flare guards and that were added in 99. And then in 2000 was our very first year of HillClimb Championship racing. Until 2000, I'd only ever done club level racing. And I took out a car that I personally had spent a lot of time preparing, built a good combi engine for it. I had a fair idea of what was to be expected of the car to be good in competition, but I didn't expect it to be as good as it was. So we went out in year 2000, the New South Wales Championship, and won every single round in the 2 litre to 3 litre sports sedans.
That's an impressive debut.
It was an impressive debut for sure. Through the 8 rounds, I also set 4 new track records that year, and then backed it up later in that year and won the Australian Hill Climb Championship at Mount Panorama at Bathurst in the 2 litre to 3 litre sports sedans.
That must have been an exhilarating feeling to have done that.
It was.
First year proper out.
First year out, and it was just sensational.
Yeah. And what's happened to the car since then, the development that's gone on?
Well, over the period of time, we've developed our engines and we're making more and more and more power out of them. The engine that I won the Australian Hill Climb Championship in 2000 had 180 horsepower at the tyres. The new engine for the car, which will be going in shortly, I'm going to be really disappointed if it hasn't got 250 at the tyres.
Yeah,
and that's a big power increase over what we were running years ago.
Yeah. What do you find? You, I mean, obviously work with these motors all the time.
Yeah.
Is it just finding those little percentages each time, or do you find that you get a big jump and then you sort of stay there? And
you generally improve in small gains for lots of dollars.
Yep.
Over the years, I've been able to locate some additional performance items which are a great benefit to these engines.
For sure.
One of them's the pistons.
Yeah,
we run Chev pistons in our VW engines.
Oh, really?
We do.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, so
that's pretty incredible.
The engines that we're running in both Phoenix and the Blue Car are both running 400 Chevy pistons.
Yeah, wow, okay. So is there work to get them to fit, like machining work, or is it they're actually pretty nice?
Yeah, lots of machining work.
Yep.
In the early days, we were machining pistons to suit the engine.
Yep.
Now we're machining engines to suit the pistons.
Wow. Okay.
So,
yeah, that's come a long way then.
It has.
Total thinking outside the box. Yeah, definitely. And then how do you, I guess, source engines for that? Because are they still rolling off production lines, or do you just find them and rebuild them?
Yeah. Unfortunately, the combi engines, the Type 4 engines that I work with, are very, very hard to find.
Yeah, okay.
And people don't want to part with them.
For sure.
I've been very fortunate. Only recently, 4 or 5 months ago, a gentleman made contact with me, had 34 of them in his stock, we'll say. I did a deal with him.
For sure, as you would.
And all 34 are on the shelf over there.
Gold mine, absolute gold mine.
So we've got a good supply of combi engines for doing not only standard engine rebuilds, but high performance engine rebuilds as well.
A few other cars. We've got the purple, what do you call it?
It's a beach buggy.
Beach buggy, that's the name I'm trying to find in my head. That is, of course, raced as well, and is in the hands of your fiance.
My fiance. My fiance Jill. She loves to get behind the wheel, and she does both drag racing and hill climb racing in the little purple buggy.
Yep.
We've got 2 different engine combinations we use in that for her.
Yep.
At the moment, it's got the 2.2 twin turbo motor in it, which is a lot of fun for her to drive.
Yep.
But I'm going to put back in the Type 4 engine, the big 2.8 litre.
Yeah.
It's an engine that's normally aspirated, big compression, and it's actually got more power than the twin turbo Type 1 motor.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's good. Does she enjoy it?
She enjoys it.
Get into the racing as much as you do?
Yep. Yeah, she loves it. She's been a great supporter of me in the racing.
Yep.
And she comes to all the race meetings in support.
Yeah, good.
And now that we've got her behind the wheel, we can't get her out of the car.
You're going to get relegated just to mechanic duties soon,
that's okay. Yeah. I believe I owe her that.
Now, I mean, there's a lot of cool events that you've been to, as shown on the trophies on the wall. What are some of the ones that you really enjoy getting to each year? What do you look forward to, I guess?
The one main event for us, keeping in mind that we're a Volkswagen orientated company and a Volkswagen orientated race team, is the Volkswagen Magazine Australia VW Drags. They're held every October long weekend at Warwick Dragway. Craig Hughes, the promoter of the event, puts on an awesome event every year. And we generally take 5 cars to Warwick Dragway. We hire the big 18-metre long marquee, and we have 6 bays in the marquee, 5 of them for race cars, the other one's sleeping quarters for everyone. We all bunk in there together, and it's a great camping weekend. Very relaxing, very social weekend.
Yeah, for sure. And
But
you take
that-
home a bit of silverware as well.
Yeah, we always tend to take a little bit of silverware home, but as much as it's a fun weekend, we treat it pretty seriously when we're on the track.
Well, hopefully it continues for many years to come.
Yeah, thank
you
you.
for your time today to show us around this great establishment and show how grassroots and a long time in it can really yield excellent results.
Yeah, thanks so much. It's an absolute pleasure to have you here.